games aren't real. You aren't controlling anything. Everyone is just watching a slightly different copy of the same video. Video game, because they're playing with you. Think, sheeple!
Listen to our podcast.
Palworld, the official Pokemon ripoff of the NRA, has been incapable of not generating news since it launched. For starters, the game has overtaken Counter-Strike to become the game with the second most concurrent players ever on Steam. Having said that, reviewers seem to be divided on whether Palworld is actually good. Meanwhile, many Nintendo fans are united in anger over the developers using generative AI in the game, despite no evidence to suggest this actually happened. Now don't get us wrong, the Palworld developers clearly ripped off a ton of Pokemon, and some of them are very blatant. Here's the Gen 1 Pokemon, Diglett, and this is the Palworld version called Wiglet. Oh, wait, nope. That's a real Pokemon, apparently completely unrelated to Diglett. There are so many Pokemon now, they have to rip themselves off. So maybe Palworld's developers shouldn't be receiving death threats for taking some inspiration. As for Nintendo's own take on Palworld, they've said they're aware of it, but didn't elaborate further, which I think in Nintendo speak is a threat.
I think if they were gonna do something, they would have done it already.
They did, however, have something to say about a mod from YouTuber Toasted Shoes that replaced Palworld's pals with actual Pokemon. The company DMCA'd the Toasted Shoes video within 24 hours. While he's since re-uploaded it, he will not be releasing the mod for the time being, which is a shame. Apparently, they even got a voice actor to do a great Ash Ketchum impression, but the actor wished to remain anonymous. I guess they aren't proud of their work on a mod for a game about capturing sentient creatures and putting them to work in mines. This is all just making me think about how the fundamental premise of Pokemon is still...
Yeah.
We always just forget that it's kind of weird.
Also, where do they get their meat from?
Last week, an internal memo from Walmart leaked, stating the superstore would be disposing of all physical copies of Starfield. This document was corroborated by credible leak expert Wario64 and also by some guy on the Reset Era forums who says he works at Walmart. Going by Raichu, the Reset Era, too soon. The memo itself also states the supplier is funding the Starfield removal, which implies Microsoft or Bethesda gave the order. Taking into account that this memo came out about a day after Xbox confirmed the release of Hellblade 2 would be digital only, many are worried about what this means for the future of physical game releases. Unfortunately, the market has been pushing towards digital for some time, obviously. UK video game retailer Game!
We sell games.
We sell game!
Just one.
Announced it would be phasing out trade-ins and ending the sale of pre-owned physical games just last week. But don't lose heart just yet. According to an anonymous Walmart source, the company is just doing what they always do when a new version of a game becomes available. They will continue to sell copies of Starfield, and we will continue to wait until they're heavily discounted to buy them. Riot Games announced they are laying off 530 employees, which amounts to about 11% of the company's workforce. Riot released two statements, one consoling players and the other consoling the people whose jobs are disappearing. In their statement to employees, CEO Dylan Jadeja said the studio had made some big bets since 2019 that unfortunately have not been paying off. Jadeja asserted Riot isn't doing this for shareholders or to hit some quarterly earnings number. Instead, he said it's what we need to do in order to maintain a long-term focus for players. And that quote very much gives "your mom and I are divorcing for you" vibes. Now, to be fair to Riot, they're offering compelling parachutes to departing staff. Everyone will get a minimum of 6 months severance and additional pay to cover their health benefits for the same length, immediate access to job placement services for 6 months, a laptop to help find work if they don't own one. There will even be support for staff holding work visas to help them with their immigration status. As far as breakups go, I've had worse. Usually I have to give them a laptop.
And I end up with -1 hoodie.
It's not a good deal. I think it's time for a little magic.
Now it's time for Quick Bits, brought to you by Magic Spoon, the healthy yet delicious snack that'll give you that boost you need for your early morning gaming sessions. And by early morning, we do mean those, oh, it's 7 a.m. and I haven't slept yet mornings. You know who you are, some judgment. Magic Spoon's keto-friendly cereals have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 to 5 net grams of carbs per serving. Start your day, end it, or keep it going with a winning play. Check out the link below and use code Linus for $5 off a Magic Spoon variety box, so you can get all them flavors.
My mom told me quick bits are what happen when newscasters and speedrunners kiss. The Overwatch League is back, baby, with some major changes and a different name. It's kind of like a Gandalf the White situation. The Balrog was Bobby Kotick. The new Overwatch Champions Series will have its qualifier rounds open to anyone, not just sponsored teams who can afford to pay millions of dollars in franchise fees. So,
I can do it?
solo players can even find teammates and resources through a platform operated by ESL Faceit Group, the result of a merger formed after ESL and Faceit were acquired by a Saudi Arabian government-owned holding company. But who isn't owned by a corp owned by a country with a history of human rights abuses these days? Anyways, there'll be 3 regions, with Asia qualifiers starting in February, followed by the North America and Europe, Middle East, and North Africa, or EMEA, regions in March. Hopefully the Balrog stays dead this time. No one ever permanently dies in these big franchises. It's a problem. Monster Hunter Rise is no longer playable on the Steam Deck thanks to code uploaded by a known malicious actor, Capcom. Oh, sorry, no, quick correction. That should read, thanks to a new Enigma Protector DRM added to the game nearly 2 years post-launch by its own publisher, Capcom. There you go. Capcom added the same DRM to Resident Evil Revelations 2 earlier this month before reverting the change due to widespread performance issues. They have since apparently learned nothing. A Pokemon game hacker figured out that you can recreate Game Boy Advance game files by analyzing their crash sounds. The Zaz glitch on YouTube caused his GBA to crash and then kept recording it for 4 hours afterwards. About halfway in, the YouTuber picked up a sound that is apparently the crashed game's ROM encoded in audio form. After some trial and error, and some help from the original game files, Glitch was able to boot that ROM. I heard you get the ROM for Doom if you play Metallica backwards. MSI Gaming's China division has apologized and fired their social media team over a joke that was posted on Weibo about a neglected girlfriend deleting her boyfriend's games. The post led to heavy backlash and even calls for a boycott from gamers who either think the post is insulting for anyone whose games are their girlfriend, or for a reason I can't think of that actually makes sense. Google translated the post's text to refuse to be mentally drained, start by deleting the boyfriend game. A translation approved by our very own Andy Zhang, but there's gotta be some cultural context we're missing here. Hopefully MSI's new Chinese social team knows that it's only okay to make a joke about hypothetical girlfriends if it involves bringing their gamer boo-boo a sandwich. And in a recent interview with IGN, director of Dragon's Dogma 2, Hideaki Itsuno, said that game designers should encourage players to walk. Not because we need to exercise our frail and disappointing meat prisons. He meant walk in video games. According to Itsuno, developers can and should discourage players from using fast travel by making running around the game world on foot fun and interesting. Okay, yeah, I'm on board. Dragon's Dogma 2 will follow its predecessor in only allowing fast travel to select locations on a predetermined ox cart route with the ever-present risk of an ambush. And I can say—
Hello, ambush.
What? Come on. And I can say for myself that if every time I went to work there was a chance of a goblin raid, it would definitely make my commute more exciting. But it's not even possible to make the gaming news more exciting than it already will be on Thursday, so come on back in 2 days, if you can even handle it. Wow, it's gonna be so—